This one's from a while ago. I actually don't even remember how long ago it got submitted, but it was quite a while ago. It looks super interesting because I think it's about Battlefield. A detailed review of Battlefield 2142. And there was another video in here. I lost it though. It was talking about Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. I wonder if those games really were kind of ahead of their time. And that's what this one is. The greatest innovative shooter we'll never see again. Let's go.
I began my PC gaming life and YouTube life almost 16 years ago when I was barely 13 years old in the game Battlefield 2142. Previous to this, I'd played countless N64, PS2 and GameCube single-player titles, but 2142 was my first proper foray into the multiplayer shooter experience.
Which Battlefield was I thinking of? Because this is not the Battlefield I was thinking of.
The word foray. And hot damn, when I got my greasy prepubescent hands on this game, I hardcore no-lifed it all the way up until Bad Company 2 came out. To this day, no Battlefield title, or really any multiplayer game, has quite been able to fill the hole that Battlefield 2142 left.
What the? I've never seen this game.
Trust me, I've tried.
2042 is the recent one. This is an old game. Yeah, I thought this was going to be 2042.
And while some will of course claim that the nostalgia goggles have clouded my...
Are we going to do more Neurosummer reactions? If there was like a part 2 to the same series that I watched before, I would watch it, but it's hard to know like where it picks up from where I left off.
My judgment, I have realized through the making of this video that my love for 2142 is not just a longing for a childhood lost, but a fair and reasoned yearning for the lost innovation this game introduced into the world.
Oh my god, this game reminds me of this game I played on PlayStation 1. I forget what it's called though.
Explore the incredible features and unrivaled game design of an innovative Battlefield now lost. In this love letter to my favorite game that will likely never exist again.
What's going on? We want to welcome everybody to Gamecasters Battlefield 2142 Invitational presented by Gameplay HD.
If you're a channel surfer, cool your jets. Set down the remote because, Rich, what our audience is about to see, no one has ever laid eyes on.
Oh my god. Oh.
I can't believe I never played this. I actually missed out. I did play Gears of War, yeah. I played the fuck out of Gears of War.
Battlefield 2142 was released in 2006 by DICE and published by Electronic Arts. The game, unlike any Battlefield before it or after it really, is known for its unique futuristic setting and the bold innovations that this entailed. While earlier titles in the series, such as Battlefield 1942, focused on historical warfare, and Battlefield 2 explored modern-day combat, Battlefield 2142 pushed into the future, introducing a wide array of groundbreaking features that set it apart from the rest. All those games, by the way, are made on the Refractor engine. That was the original engine that was used in 1942. I will now be using...
Chat. How many of you guys played Battlefield 19? It was kind of like an arcadey game, but I played the shit out of it. I think there was 1942 and 43, if I'm not misremembering.
My narration voice. Battlefield 2142 depicts a bleak future war about a fight for resources. In the year 2106,
I used to love flying the planes in 42.
Displaces millions globally, with Russia and Japan hit hardest. Struggling to secure resources, the Pan-Asian Coalition, PAC, grew increasingly desperate. Meanwhile, the European Union, supported by resource-rich North Africa through its alliance with the Union of African States, managed to endure. In 2139, the PAC launched a full-scale invasion of Europe and North Africa, igniting the 22nd century's Cold War. A brutal fight for the planet's last habitable land and resources.
Wait, what happened to NA?
This game came out in the early 2000s. At the time, scientists in real life were beginning to link climate change to an increase in extreme weather events, and you could see the inspiration in the game. That's my flat right there. 2,000 a month minimum, spacious, open plan freezer. Something I really like.
How old is this video? 4 weeks ago. Okay, I was gonna say.
Love about Battlefield
it
2142 is
probably
its
went up.
commitment to the lore and the beautiful
21,
way in which this is expressed.
2100? Yeah, it's probably
the
quadruple
game doesn't
that.
have a single-player campaign, so the only way to experience this twisted future
these little
is through the
turrets are
level
sick.
design and a few short accompanying paragraphs in the loading screen. Whether you're traversing the desolate plains of an overheated Highway Tampa or the snowy remains at the Bridge of Remagan, you'll certainly feel the majesty of a prosperous future crushed within the firm grip of nature's hand. This kind of storytelling has felt somewhat vacant in more modern multiplayer.
Didn't Battlefield games stop doing campaigns? Because I remember playing the Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 campaigns, and I don't think there were any more for a bit.
Battlefield
right?
2042, for example, describes a world gripped in the aftermath of a Kessler syndrome event, causing 70% of the world's satellites to fall from space and a total blackout to engulf Earth, which sounds pretty cool. And yet, the only reason I even know about this Kessler syndrome event thing is because I found it on the wiki. You would literally never know from playing the actual game. By the way, for this video, I had to reinstall Battlefield 2042 just to get this footage, and if that sacrifice isn't worth a subscription, I really don't know what is. So much lens flare on my fucking screen, man.
You know what's sad? This game actually could have been good. I saw the vision. Could have been good.
The point is, 2142 knew what it was, and it expressed it really well. Now, let's talk about the reason you clicked on this video. Titan mode. Very few Battlefield titles or popular shooters in general, especially in modern times, are defined by their game modes. This is because every shooter now is either an extraction shooter, a competitive search and destroy, or some variation of conquest. The Titan mode in 2142 was single-handedly the best part of the entire game, and a huge missing piece in any future multiplayer release that I've never seen again and really wish would come back. Absolutely textbook.
2042 had a story?
The Titan is a flying fortress, initially created by the PAC to move displaced
civilian
populations over hazardous terrain. They were later repurposed for war. Sporting 4 ground attack cannons and 2 fast-firing anti-air guns, as well as a hangar bay fit to carry an attack jet and a transport vehicle, combined with drop pods to rapidly and safely deploy troops, shielded behind
could you drop through the drop
and
pods?
an outer energy shield. These vehicles became high-value target number 1 on any battlefield. Titan mode tasks players with destroying the opposing team's Titan while defending their own. Anti-Titan missile silos are located at strategic locations on the ground. Capturing these allows teams to fire automated missiles towards the enemy Titan, initially taking down the shields and then damaging the main hull directly. Once the shields are down, players can either continue firing missiles to destroy the hull completely, or board the Titan using assault pods, transports, or spawn points. Inside, they must destroy 4 reactor consoles to access the main reactor and detonate it.
I'm going to pose a question, and it's not my thought. It's a line of thinking and a thought-provoking question. Are gamers stupid? And are gamers too stupid to have a game mode like that be something that they are willing to do for long periods of time?
Escaping within 30
is it too
seconds
complicated
before the Titan is destroyed, or not escaping, as is often the case. Oh, that's me! Titans can actually be moved across the battlefield via input from the team's commander and perform a defensive, offensive, and tactical role of great importance to the outcome of the round. If you can't already tell, Titan mode is sensational.
Who gets to be the commander,
though? The full
though?
breadth of 2142's large maps, exploits the multi-capability of many of 2142's unique vehicles, and requires teamwork at every stage of gameplay to complete various objectives. Unlike Conquest or Rush, standard Battlefield game modes you see across future...
You know, for a game that was in like 2006, it looks pretty damn
Titan
good.
mode has a variety of different ways of winning the game that appeal to different players and playstyles. God, I'm the best. Capturing missile silos is similar.
Although I'm not going to lie, if you look at COD 4, like original COD Modern Warfare 2007, it looks much better than this, at least from my memory, from what I've seen. I think I saw a clip of it semi-recently. That game really just was.
The Conquest is required
peak.
In the early game to access the
Which
enemy
is probably
Titan.
part of why people loved it so
The more silos you
much.
have and maintain, the faster the enemy Titan shield is going to go down. From here, you could opt to continue to win the ground war and chip away at their hull, something Conquest enjoyers will happily do, but you could also board the Titan, turning the game into essentially an infantry-only rush mode, where you have to destroy 2 initial consoles inside the Titan, which open up the next 2 consoles, which open up a final core. Winning a battle inside the Titan is very much a team effort. Getting to the Titan requires air or ground transport. You can't just walk there by yourself. Breaching these tight corridors is grenade spam hell, and also the enemy can spawn here,
so
your
fun,
respawn points better be close and well maintained. Also in this game, you can only spawn on the squad leader, so don't think you'll just be respawning.
It like weirdly reminds me of Reach.
That happens to be on the Titan. Because of the interplay between the ground conquest mode and the Titan attack rush style mode in one playstyle, you might.
As a whole, yes, gamers are probably too stupid for this for long term. They're outliers. Foxhole is a game where you just look at the roles in it. Isn't Foxhole that game where there's like mini micro factions, almost like clans, and you can have like civil wars where like within your own team their fights break out over resources and stuff. Like you build like let's say you want to build a warship and it takes like a week to build a ship. And then like that clan or that group will control that ship, but they have to like bring resources to get it. And like there's actual supply lines. Yeah, real people manage the supply lines. I've seen TikToks on that game and it seems so interesting, but it has to be like a super small community, right?
Find yourself flying jets, keeping the skies clear of possible Titan attacking transports. In another playstyle, you're on the ground in a tank dominating the ground war. Or maybe you're an infantry player in an APC, desperately fighting your way to the enemy Titan's location to pod up. And no, that's not some vaping thing. You shoot up onto the Titan. No, that's a drug thing. You know what I'm saying. The Titan can also be moved by the commander. Maybe you put it in the middle of the map to have an easier time capturing and holding ground points. Maybe you put it in the corner to make it harder for attackers to jump on. Also, just because the enemy Titan's shield goes down first doesn't mean you've automatically won. Once your shields are down, a strong infantry Titan assault can beat you faster than your ground dominance can beat them. God, I'm the best. It is, in so many ways, the pinnacle of large-scale multiplayer shooter gaming. And I continue to be shocked that we've never seen this mode or anything even remotely close ever again.
I would love to play something like this.
I cannot stress to you how sad I am that this innovation has been lost.
I feel like a game like Arma would have something like this too. You ever seen like those like clips of like the Arma pilots? God, there was like some TikTok I saw, losing my head rent free, where I think it was Arma and like they were getting picked up by a pilot, like a helicopter, and he literally does like a barrel roll to land. And people were like, holy fuck, who is that guy? And some guy goes, you don't know him? That's the best pilot on the server. Just...
But Titan mode is nothing without the unique and innovative 2142 vehicles.
If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about.
Unbelievably clean. The drop pod is a staple of Battlefield 2142 and is equipped to a number of vehicles to turn them from basic transport infantry fighting vessels to essential Titan assault technology. The BTR-20 Yastreb or UD-12 Shepherd armored air transports perform a multi-purpose role of being effective infantry fighting vehicles, mobile team-wide spawn points, and Titan assault vehicles players can drop pod from to attack the Titan. The BTR-20 Romanov and AMV-2
Did the drop pod just go up? Did I see that right?
A similar function on the ground. These vehicles are also fitted with an EMP grenade capable of temporarily disabling any vehicle hit, which you definitely don't use to troll your own team. How you use and manage these vehicles forms the backbone of your team's air, ground, and Titan combat and makes for some beautiful examples of ways in which a game can create teamwork through design instead of artificially ramming it down your throat with arbitrary squad point rewards or something similar. 21.
I had a passing thought. Maybe it's not gamers are stupid. Maybe it's gamers suck. You know that famous Battlefield clip of the guy jumping out of the jet, pulling out the rocket launcher, shooting the jet behind him, then getting back in the jet? As time went on, that clip became less and less, quote unquote, cool and flashy and impressive. I saw people saying like when like the last Battlefield came out, this was like 2 years ago when they announced it, and it was a clip like that, like they did like a homage clip to like that super famous clip, and people were like, oh, this isn't even that impressive anymore. Like people do this all the time, like in games, like it's not even like a big deal anymore. And it gets to the point where people get so good at these types of games or any games where a game like this works well because you have like 50 people on each team. It's a big brawl. But if you have like 3 or 4 ultra gamers in the lobby dominating, they're not going to have as much fun. So they have to have skill-based matchmaking. And then the skill-based matchmaking is going to want all the really good gamers to be one lobby. So then you don't actually get to do the cool shit. But then you will get to do the cool shit if you're in one of the shittier lobbies. It's almost like smurfing, a game with no ranked, you know? And so, I don't know. It's weird where it's like, I think over time, like people just get so good at stuff where they don't want to deal with it anymore.
142 also came with advanced hover technology,
We're not being
with the PAC getting the mighty Type 32 Nekomoto tank, which couldn't traverse the turret horizontally, but could spin like a Beyblade. The EU had a more traditional tank, which I felt was a pretty brave choice considering very few mainstream games commit to asymmetrical vehicle combat. But it meant that there was actually unique strengths and weaknesses to each faction's tanks, and your understanding of the vehicles directly affected your effectiveness in tank combat.
Holy shit!
This hover technology extended to the Type 36 Hachimoto, essentially a hover bike with a grenade launcher secondary seat that could also fire TV-guided missiles, which is pretty wild. What's really crazy about these hover vehicles is that they weren't jank at all and legit actually worked quite well. And you can see how in a snowy or icy environment where conventional roads have been lost, a switch to hovercraft technology seems like an appropriate development. I'm the best to ever do it. Stop looking at me. But we can't talk about the vehicles of 2142 without talking about the iconic Battlefield 2142 Walker. I mean, come on. It's on the bloody box. The Walker of today is a piece of kit old people use to get around the house. But in 2142...
So wait, I mean, the one way to be able to play this is if there's a group of people that are actually playing it to this day.
Walker is the L5
that's pretty damn cool.
or T39 Bogatia.
I'm sure there's some kind of like online community where they either like emulated the game or something.
These bipedal vehicles were introduced into the war for their high firepower and all-terrain capabilities. I'll be honest, in real life, I'd question whether a bipedal vehicle has any kind of effectiveness at all, as I think in general they're far too easily toppled by something as basic as rope. But damn, do they look
Anybody
cool.
remember the Walker from Halo?
Vent on the bottom that you could shoot.
I low-key hated that thing. That thing sucked.
With any small arms weapon to do damage to the vehicle, which was an interesting touch. One final honorable mention for the A3 Goliath infantry fighting vehicle, a slow-moving, heavy-armed and armored IFV with unique regenerative cells on the side that automatically repair the vehicle and have to each be destroyed before you can detonate the vehicle completely.
Wait, that's sick.
Another unique and innovative idea that I don't think I've seen since, but added an interesting layer to multiplayer gameplay that feels sorely missing in modern titles. Overall, I can't help but feel that this collection of vehicles, and I didn't even mention the VTOL jets, offer up a smorgasbord of well thought out and creative ideas that make for iconic vehicle combat you just don't see anymore.
Like eyes here, like a little and yeah.
So many games keep it unbelievably bland, with standard tanks.
Dude, look at how many options there are. That's fucking cool.
Realistic helicopters, and yeah, 2042 did add this hover bike thing, but this doesn't seem to have any rules. You can kind of just do whatever you want with it. And I'd argue
there's kind of a clip what I was talking about in this. Jumping out of the hover bike in the air, rocketing someone, jumping back in. Not exactly the same clip, of course,
this is like when GTA 5 started adding
and then there's multiple of them
just to keep the GTA money rolling in. Let's switch over to infantry combat.
Didn't they actually make Battlefield 2042 much better? Didn't they like make it so much better? But like people don't care because like, you know, they kind of missed the boat.
Squads and squad play form an integral part of 2142, and
is this a video about a guy who loves Battlefield 2142 and why games that aren't are boring? No. How the f do you walk away with that take? We were just talking about like, he's been talking about how there's a lot of innovations in this game that you'll probably never see again. And has made some good points.
Were the main reason I played the game for as long as I did.
There's not a lot of games like this.
Even now, there are still people in this
the modern
game
era
using the in-game VoIP. He's clueless. This game had a class and unlock system as well as loadout customization options, all of which were pretty innovative at the time, but many of those innovations were actually carried forward, and you do see that.
That means everything other games
now, it could
boring,
offer up a deep exploration of 2142's unique weapon systems and innovative unlocks, but we would literally be here all day. Shout out to the Clark B shotgun, still the best shotgun in gaming. I am just a shotgun one trick. But what this game also had that seems to have been entirely lost in mainstream shooters was a far more interesting squad leader role. First and foremost, in 2142, the squad leader was the only player in the squad that other squad members could spawn on. This drastically changes the way the game is played and greatly elevates the value of the squad leader within the squad, as not only are they the ones giving orders, but they may also be your only way.
How do you get to be chosen,
the battlefield.
How does that even happen?
Future Battlefield titles all allow for squad members to spawn on each other, which fundamentally changes the squad dynamic and removes much of the squad leader's intrinsic value, I think for the worst. Also in 2142, the squad leader is given unique squad leader unlocks. having to choose between a spawn beacon or a spotting drone that follows you around, or a drone with a weak auto turret gun attached. The ammo class could unlock an infantry spotting radar, while the engineer could unlock a vehicle spotting radar.
Wait, that's so cool.
If placed on your spotting drone, you suddenly had a mega spotting drone, turning the squad leader into a mobile UAV, again bringing squads together and elevating the value of the squad leader. In future Battlefield,
then everyone wants to be the squad leader and gets mad if they're not the squad leader.
Leaders can unlock arbitrary and not particularly impactful call-ins after farming squad points, which have always felt ridiculously lackluster to me and feel a bit like a spit in the face of 2142's innovative squad leader role of the past. But while we're talking infantry, let's talk about stabbing them. Knife fight. I wouldn't be a Londoner if I didn't talk about the humble knife. In most modern shooters, it's used as a humiliation weapon more than something that actually provides any kind of combat effectiveness, unless you have Commando Pro.
This is the worst commando launch of all time.
In 2142, this is taken to the next level, not with gimmicky microtransaction hell execution animations, but by giving you the dog tags of the enemy player that you stab and meticulously tracking them forever.
That is peak. I love when games do that.
Well, I'd say forever. All the 2142 stat pages are long gone, as is the in-game tracking, but trust me, I had your mum's tags, and I had them several times.
Okay.
It was really fun, especially
Chad, have you ever played Escape from Tarkov? You know for a fact that if you play with friends, you accidentally kill them or they die, and you kill who kills them, you collect their tags, and you keep them in your stash, and you never sell them, and you keep one of each friend. Everybody does it. Literally everybody does it.
If you played with some regular people or on a regular server to see just how many times you'd stabbed your mate, and it gave you a reason to chance a knife kill over simply humiliating your opponent. I'm pretty sure some future Battlefields had a version of the dog tag collector and added some customization to the tags, but something about the way it was done in this game just feels better than that weird stats in the Battlefield 3 web browser thing they had going on. Now I know that despite my best efforts, Battlefield 2142 was far from most people's favorite Battlefield. I mean, if these sales figures are to be believed, it's literally the least popular game in the franchise, and it's not even close. It's so unpopular that this other Battlefield stats page doesn't even include it in the list, and that's pretty devastating. Not only does this show that once again my opinion is wrong, not only does this almost certainly doom this video to a life of never being watched by anyone, but it's also devastating because I think this game offered up impressive, innovative ideas in a gaming package that I don't think I've ever seen again, and based on the sales figures, probably never will see again.
Which is sad, because sometimes I think games are ahead of their time. I think there's sometimes games that are ahead of their time. And you know, I think the era of information would probably have helped this game a ton, right? Because like now, let's use Marvel Rivals as an example for today's era. A game like Marvel Rivals, within 2 to 3 months, already has had its skill floor drastically increase. It, like almost instantly, right? Where you went from people that have no idea what to do versus a Jeff ult, versus no idea what to do versus an Iron Man ult, no idea what to do versus like whatever, to now they know how to easily shut it down with 10 different abilities, 10 different ults, 10 different whatever. And for really, really good gamers that have been playing the hero shooter genre or whatever, that came instinctually because they're just very good. For the general public, not so much. But you know what did come to them? A random TikTok, a random short, a random Instagram reel, random YouTube video. Something where someone explained to them, quite simply, this is how you do it. 2006, we're talking early era YouTube. Not really that mainstream, especially gaming wasn't that really mainstream. But a game like this today, I feel like you could probably, it would be more digestible.
Obviously, this game was released just a year after the far more popular Battlefield 2, which was probably a mistake, and existed in a world where modern combat was definitely where it was at, and future combat was of absolutely no interest. I think, to be honest, we're kind of still in that world. But that's also pretty sad, because I think with a game focused on a conflict in a time that doesn't yet exist, the developers are given the license to create something you've never seen before, full of stuff entirely unique to the imaginations of the talented people on that team. I think the only shooters that come close to the innovations of 2142 are perhaps Titanfall and The Finals. And unfortunately, both of those games are kinda niche. There's an argument to be made there. I'm calling them niche.
I don't know if I'd say The Finals.
But,
I guess I didn't play this game, so I don't have
first-person shooter gaming landscape.
It doesn't look like The Finals.
It just feels like everyone is making generic copies of the same thing over and over again. And I get it, you got shareholders, the stakes are high, innovation is risky, and frankly, you only have to look at the example I've used in this video to prove that innovation is not always the path to financial progress. But seriously, just look at the 2142 trailer.
Gives me Helldivers vibes. Am I wrong for that?
Trailer dropped today. I mean, look at it. It's sick. I want to play that game. Battlefield 2142 is a shell of its former self. As much as I sing its praises in this video, the game today definitely feels somewhat lacking. Unfortunately, it's not because of the game itself, but because of the lack of people playing it. And also because the people that are still playing it may be the sweatiest god gamers I've met in my entire life.
What?
And while I will tell you that the Reclamation project exists and that you can follow a link in the description if you want to try this for yourself, I will warn you that it may not be the 2142 that you remember. What the fuck is this? Can we just play Titan, please? Unless this video pops off, in which case it might be an incredible time to play 2142. I have all my fingers and toes crossed, and no, I'm not showing you my toes. At least not for free. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you made it all the way to the end, you're probably a lot like me, which is frankly the biggest compliment I could give anyone, and you should definitely
That's pretty good.
Subscribe.
I've never heard of this game before.
One of my videos.
I ain't gonna play it.
On Foxhole, another niche game, is practically legendary at this point. Or why not take a look at the best World War II simulator?
Wait, the Foxhole. Wait, we were talking about Foxhole earlier. Wait, we actually were talking about Foxhole. Yeah, I ain't gonna play it. I ain't gonna play that game. Or 2142. I'm not gonna play it, but. Damn it, I actually made a good point. I would love to see more games like that in the future, but I don't know if that'll actually happen. It was a good video. Very good video. I'm glad I saved it for later.